It follows a heavy defeat at Liverpool over the weekend and ends a 2.5-year stay at Old Trafford for the man who calls himself the Special One. Paul Scott reports.
19 points off the top of the table, the worst start to a league season since 1990, and a manager at odds with his star players.
So you don't think they don't care?
I think that some care more than others.
Do you want to say who?
No.
Appointed in 2016, Jose Mourinho's time at Manchester United has been rocky. But now he's once again on the hunt for a new job. 3 years and a day since he departed Chelsea under similar acrimonious circumstances. The reputation of the self-anointed Special One has never been so low.
Did you learn anything then from this game?
No. Maybe you did. Not me.
In years gone by, his self-assured single-mindedness saw him win domestic and European titles with Chelsea, Real Madrid and Inter Milan. But for a man who's won more silverware than any current European manager, this is another failure on his CV.
First of all, we have lots of problems related with physicality. We have lots of players that I could consider injury prone, because some of our players, they are always injured, and is not with me. Was before me.
The club is in 6th position and it's already conceded more goals this season than it did in the entirety of last. Their recent poor form left a manager known for being pragmatic, direct and getting the best out of his players without answers, and a club directionless. They begin their search for a 4th manager in 6 years. But what next for one of the greatest managers of his generation?
Well, let's speak to football journalist Mina Rzouki, who joins me now here in the studio. Good to have you with us. So, Man U say they've sacked him because there was a catalogue of failures, and despite spending hundreds of millions of pounds on new players, they haven't really made much progress. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, it's entirely true. To be very honest, I think that he has failed in his mission to try to develop the players under his watch, to try to progress this team tactically, and he has to shoulder the blame for that. He's created a horrible atmosphere in the dressing room. The club is shrouded in negativity at the moment. It seems like every time you watch them, there's a lack of excitement. He has a squad that doesn't really understand how to defend, and yet he forces them to do the very thing that exposes their deficiencies, rather than make use of what it is that they are good at, which is attacking football.
And that's exactly what Paul Pogba said, because he had a massive falling out with his star player, and he was saying, look, we have to attack, and that is not Mourinho's philosophy.
Yes, and I do understand why Pogba feels so frustrated, but he is also a player, and he has to listen to the coach, and he should have shown perhaps a different attitude. I won't entirely on this blame Mourinho for what's happened between the two, but I also do agree with Paul Pogba in the sense that you do have Lukaku and Martial and Rashford and Paul Pogba and Alexis Sanchez that you fought tooth and nail to bring in, who was a hero at Arsenal. And yet all we are being tasked with doing is defending. And we have 7 defenders or defensive midfielders present in the match against Liverpool. What is the mission here? To just defend against a side that know how to counterattack and have pace and exuberance at every level? No, you have to find what's so brilliant about Mourinho was that he did the basics right. He saw the team and then just managed to bring something out of that. But right now he's seeing his team. They're only ever really good at attacking. They've shown that against Newcastle, against Manchester United when they've been, against Juventus when they've been unleashed. So just let them do that. Let them what they know how to do best, attack forward.
So who is going to replace Mourinho, do you think?
Yeah, that's the huge question at the moment. Apparently the ideal candidate is Mauricio Pochettino for his ability to train youngsters, to develop them, and to play a progressive and interesting style of football. He is also very happy with not always receiving the players that he always demands, and he works on tight budgets. But Zinedine Zidane's also been mentioned, which I won't understand why, for the life of me, why he is a candidate. He is a marvelous coach, but why he succeeded so well in Madrid was he understood the club. Don't just go for another big name. Go for a guy who understands your club, what's being tasked, what's being asked of him, and what he is tasked with doing. And I don't think that this is a perfect fit for Zidane. I do think there'll be an interim manager. It could well be Laurent Blanc, who understands the culture of the club and who did a good job at Bordeaux, most importantly at France, and of course with PSG. Long term, though, they love Pochettino, but they need to really investigate and scout and work properly at the highest level to make sure they have a philosophy going forward.
Well, I'm sure the bookies are taking bets right now on who's going to replace Mourinho. Mina, thank you very much indeed for that. Mina Rzouki there. And beyond the game, we'll have more reaction and analysis to Mourinho's sacking. That's in around 20 minutes' time at 16:30 GMT here on TRT World.